Information systems can share data internally or with other systems. Transmitting data and information requires three parts: the sender, the medium, and the receiver. The sender transmits information over the medium, and the receiver collects the information from the medium. This happens when a server sends a video via the internet to a personal computer. Uploading and downloading are the directions that a transmission can go in. Which direction is which depends on the sizes of each party. If a server transmits data to a personal computer, it is downloading because one computer is smaller than a server. The reverse is uploading. Serial transmission is the use of a single channel to transmit and receive data in the form of binary digits. A channel is a single wire, optical fiber, or frequency. Parallel transmission is a series of channels which can transmit and receive data. Binary digits traveling along parallel channels must do so at the same speed and side by side. The terms simplex, half-duplex, and full-duplex refer to how many directions data is transferred in and whether they happen at the same time or not. Simplex transmission is in one direction only, such as from a controller to a remote-controlled helicopter. The helicopter receives commands from the controller, but it doesn't transmit anything back. Half-duplex is when transmission can happen in either direction, but not at the same time. An example of this is two-way radios. One radio can transmit to the other, but they cannot transmit at the same time or the data is lost. Full-duplex transmission happening in two directions at the same time. Modern phones are full duplex since they are able to exchange information at the same time. Synchronous transmission is when sending and receiving happen in time with one another. Asynchronous transmission is when sending and receiving do not occur in time with each other. The speed of communications can be measured in bits per second, baud rate, and bandwidth. Bits per second refers to the number of binary digits that can be transmitted in a second. Baud rate is the measurement of the number of changes in a signal each second. Each change in the signal can represent multiple bits. Bandwidth is not a measurement of speed. It is the difference between the highest and lowest frequencies a transmission channel can use. It is sometimes incorrectly used to describe speed because a larger bandwidth can mean a higher transmission speed. A computer communicates internally using the bus. The system bus is made of many wires which connect to the various devices within the computer. The system bus consists of the data, address, and control buses. The data bus transmits data on a half-duplex connection. The address bus uses a simplex connection to transmit the addresses of data from the CPU to the memory and input-output systems. The operation of the main memory and I/O systems is controlled by the CPU through the control bus. There are also external buses which connect to exterior devices. One example is a USB port. A USB port allows a computer to connect with a large number of different devices, such as external storage devices, cameras, and keyboards. Modems are used to connect personal computers with a local internet service provider, which provides an internet connection. Modems used to transfer data over phone lines, but today they are barely used, if at all. A local area network is a connection between physically close computers. The computers can be connected wirelessly or with cables. Each connected device is called a node, all of which must agree on the same type of communication. The set of communication rules are called a protocol. Each node must have a network interface card in order to decode the protocols. Wide area networks are connections of computers over large distances. The most well-known example is the Internet. Government and telecommunications companies provide fast broadband links for users to connect to. In order to use hardware, software must be used. The BIOS, or Basic Input-Output System, is the first piece of software to start when a computer is turned on. The BIOS is responsible for the initialization of hardware and is the method of communicating for the operating system and hardware. Email is an example of transmitting and receiving software. It involves typing out a message and entering an address. The message is then sent to a server and then to the recipient. Mail is an example of non-computer systems which use to transmit and receive information. One party writes a letter which then gets given to a post service. The service is paid for via prepaid stamps. The post service then sends the letter to the post office closest to the recipient, and then the letter is distributed to the recipient by staff. Data that is transferred digitally and isn't encrypted properly runs the risk of being intercepted. The data could be altered, stolen, or read. Advancing technologies means it is increasingly easier for people to communicate regardless of their geographical location. Different countries order the numbers in dates in different ways. For example, day, month, year, and month, day, year. This means that documents shared between countries need to make it clear which order they are using. This is done by showing a series of letters which represent the order of the date. Here is an example.